Hello everybody, this is Angelia. Welcome back to Read and Reread with today's Friday Reads edition on August the 5th? Maybe I should have checked that before I started. I think it's August the 5th. Could be the 6th. Okay, now I have to check. It's going to bother me. It is the 5th. I was right the first time. A little bit scattered. It's kind of chaotic. The moving situation is ongoing. We are cat sitting our grand cat because my daughter's also moving and in the middle. She went back this morning. Her college town's about 3 hours away, and she went back to stay with a friend so she could work, but she left the cat here. So she's going to come back and forth a couple times until her apartment opens up. We're closing on the sale of this house next Friday. It's crazy. But in the midst of the chaos, we did have some fun because we do live in a beach area. So we, hit the beach a few times. And we did also go to the movies together to see Nope, which we all really liked. And so if you like Jordan Peele's movies, I think you'll like this one. And I thought that it was really good and less confusing as far as like what is actually happening than the last one, like Us. But I like that one too. But at the end, I was sort of like, well, what am I supposed to take out of this? This one, I don't know. I liked it better. But anyway, it's good. I liked it. As far as TV, we rewatched Reservation Dogs with Emma Grace because she had not seen it, so that we could go on and start season 2. And we did start season 2 last night. So I'm recommending that show once again, but you do need to go back and watch the first season on Hulu if you have it before you start the second season, because it just continues like the next day with what was happening before. So that is what we've been watching. And here's what I've been reading. First of all, I did read Marion, Elaine and the Midnight Murder by T.A. Willberg. And I think that this one, there's now 2 books in this series, but this was the first one. And I did enjoy it. This was fun. It is not heavy or demanding. It does start with a murder, and there's a couple of scenes that are kind of gross, but it's not emotionally taxing. So it was a fun book to read right now. And I am going to get book 2 because I liked book 1, yeah. And also I like how book 2 looks because it's really pretty, and I'll put a picture of it up there. I looked at it at the bookstore the other day. Man, I made it through a bookstore because I had said I'm not going to buy anything right now, except I did buy one thing, but not at this bookstore. But somehow they had all these books sitting around. They had all these things that are on the book or long list, and other authors that I wanted to go and get another book about or another book in the series. I mean, they were all just like leaping out at me and calling to me like sirens on the coast or something. But I managed to evade them all because I'm trying to wait and not stack up any more books than are already sitting around here before this move. But I digress. So Marion, Elaine and the Midnight Murder is about a young woman named Marion Elaine who has an apprentice job in a group called the Inquirers, and it's an underground, literally underground group that is a detective agency, and I don't want to get too into it and do any spoilers, but they investigate crimes, but there's at the beginning of the story a murder happens amongst them that has to have been somebody in the group because of where they are located, that outsiders don't know about it. And the person who is murdered is sort of the first contact that you have if you enter this place. So she is murdered. They know what the weapon was. They don't know why. And there's what's supposed to be the official investigation, but this is one of those stories where, of course, the young upstart Marion smells a rat and just starts investigating things on her own, along with a friend, and she thinks there's more to the story than what she's being told, so she starts doing her own things. It has an element of fantasy in it because there's kind of spy gadgets that are very steampunky that couldn't really exist, and then there's a possible aspect of alchemy involved. So it's very light as far as the fantasy part. It's mostly kind of a, I don't know, I wouldn't want to call it quaint exactly, but I don't know. I just liked it. It was like good for the mood that I'm in right now, and I do want to read the second book, so I liked it. I did, but it's not like deep or hard hitting or anything. It's just a fun book, which sometimes that's what you need. It's like something fun. Some people like to read a mystery in that mood. Some people like to read a romance in that mood. I kind of go towards like a mystery or a young adult or something like that. But anyway, that's what I read. Then I'm super lightweight this week. So then I read B is for Betsy by Carolyn Hayward, which was my very first chapter book that I selected when I was in first grade at the bookstore and kept my copy, which is pretty long life for a paperback. And it is the story of a little girl who is starting school for the first time. It is completely out of date. I was afraid there'd be something, sometimes when you read these really old books that you loved, and all of a sudden there's like something disturbing or racist in the middle of it. And it wasn't anything like horrible, but it did have a part where the kids are learning about Native Americans and making a village, and some of the terminology and the explanations about their lifestyle are very stereotypical and antiquated, but it was the 1930s when it was written. So if you do ever read this with a child, you would want to put that in context and update some of the phrases for them. But I just kind of enjoyed my little nostalgic moment. And my favorite part of the book is when Betsy saves up her money to buy a tea set for her best friend Ellen, but her mother thinks she wanted it for herself and bought it for Betsy. And then Betsy's sad because it's not in the window of the shop anymore, but she goes home and the tea set's at her house, and she still gets to give it to her friend for her birthday. So that's the mood I'm in right now, that I'm craving, the comfort of a first grade novel. So then I decided, after reading two kind of fun books, I needed to at least attempt to read something that might have a little more gravity in it. I don't know if it will or not. It's kind of not so much yet. But I'm reading The Patron Saint of Liars by Ann Patchett, which was her first novel. And I really like Ann Patchett, and I've read her more recent novels, and I really love them, Dutch House and Commonwealth, and her essays. And so I had picked this up a few months ago at a used bookstore, and so I saved this out. And so far it is about a young woman who's actually married, and she finds out that she's pregnant and realizes that she's not in love with her husband and does not want a child. So instead of telling him about the pregnancy or anybody else that she knows where she lives, she talks to her priest and asks him to direct her towards a home for unwed mothers. It takes place in the 1940s. And so there's a whole backstory about this home and how it came to be this home for unwed mothers in Kentucky, this little town. But so that part comes first, and then you meet Rose and find out about her predicament. And so she basically steals her husband's car and drives to this place. So that's the whole setup. She's at this place amongst the other young women who are expecting a child, and these nuns that are caring for them, and the people that she is starting to meet at the home and make some friends. So it's an interesting, she doesn't tell anyone there either that she's married, and that her husband would actually have been happy to hear about this pregnancy. And that's kind of sad in the story, because he's a good man and she recognizes this, but she just hits this moment where she's just like, I just cannot. So she runs away, and she doesn't tell her mother either, or her friends or anybody. So that's where it's at. I don't know where the story is going, but I am trusting in this author to take me on a good journey, because I'm pretty sure that even with her very first book, it's going to be a good one. So that is what I'm doing right now. And I did, where is that book? I did slip up. Where did it go? I did slip up and get one book. It should be sitting right here. There's like nowhere else for this book to be but right here in this room, but I can't find it. All right, I guess I'll show it to you next time, because, oh, wait, here it is. Well, I was at the Goodwill, and I had to go to Goodwill to donate some stuff. And once you're there, you might as well go inside and just stroll through, right? So I strolled on through, and I did pick up a book. But, you know, please don't judge, because it was really a good find. It is this Willa Cather 3 novels and selected stories. It has O Pioneers, The Song of the Lark, Alexander's Bridge, and short stories. And, you know, recently I read My Antonia, and I really liked it. And I thought, well, I need to read some more of her books. And I had gotten interested and read about her life, and just I just enjoyed the experience. So I was kind of excited. And, okay, I'm really upset that they put this book, I mean, not bookmark, but price tag right in the middle, right across her face. But it wasn't even $1.99, because the green tag was like the color tag sale, you know, how they do at Goodwill. So really it was like, I don't know, it was more like $1. So, I mean, how could I not? So I've already broken my resolve to not buy books during the time of moving, and not only that, but a super fat one. But I couldn't just go off and leave it there. I mean, yeah, deal's a deal. So that's it. That's my week in reading, moving, packing, watching stuff, other things. I have absolutely no prediction of what I'm going to do in my next video, because everything's packed up. Everything that I have, you've already seen it in my TBR. So I guess I'll look through the tags and see if there's something fun that I can put in, just using pictures, because that's all I got, right? Okay, I hope that you've had a great week, maybe less chaotic than mine, and I will be checking back in soon. Let me know what you've been reading and enjoying, and I will talk to you then. Bye-bye.